For episode 84 of the Blind Android Users Podcast, this is demonstrating a navigational app called NAV, N-A-V, by an Italian company called ViaOpta. That's V-I-A capital O-P-T-A, and it's some kind of a pharmaceutical. I believe that the first time I came across NAV was back in 2015, sometime in the spring of that year. I'll be demonstrating that app on my Pixel 6 Pro running Android 13 Beta 4 and TalkBack version 13.0. For today's demonstration, I'll be utilizing the Google Speech Services. I have reset the app and will now navigate to the icon, and so that we start afresh. And the main idea of demonstrating this is not to take it out on a walk. We could do that on another day, but today though, I'm simply demonstrating the layout of the app and showing you what is found within that app. Now let's navigate our way to the icon and get started.
NAV by ViaOpta.
Here's NAV by ViaOpta. I'll tap here to activate.
NAV by ViaOpta. Progress bar, in progress. Allow NAV by ViaOpta to send you notifications.
That is a typical Android 13 feature whereupon when you launch an app for the first time, it's going to ask you as to whether or not if you would like to allow it to send you notifications or not. And this has to do with, like in-an-app notifications and things like that. And it's up to you to say yes or no. So I'll say yes, allow for time being, and we'll see what happens from here.
Allow button.
I'll tap on allow.
ViaOpta Nav application collects location data to be able to give you the best navigation experience by finding nearby junctions and points of interest. This collection can be running even when the app is in the background. Exit.
So the first instruction that we heard has to do about location and, or rather, running in the background, and it tells us as to why that is. And then toward the middle of the phone, on the left, we've got a button that says exit, and then to the right of that is another button, and this one says
Settings.
Settings. That's what we need. I'll tap on Settings.
Allow NAV by ViaOpta to access this device's location while using the app button.
And we are asked as to whether or not we'd like to allow this to access our location, and we have allow while using the app or
only this time button.
Only this time.
Don't allow button.
Or don't allow. I will tap on allow while using the app.
While using the app button.
There we go, and I'll tap here.
NAV by ViaOpta. ViaOpta Nav application collects location data to be able to give you the best navigation experience by finding nearby junctions and points of interest. This collection can be running even when the app is in the background.
On this page, we're being asked as to whether or not we would like to allow this to access our location. And I believe that for a navigational app, absolutely it's important that I give it that access to my location. And therefore, below that, just like we saw earlier, we have the two buttons.
Exit.
The exit at the bottom left there, that's in the middle, and then to the right,
Settings.
Settings. So I'll go ahead and tap here again on that Settings.
NAV by ViaOpta. Select language.
The next item we find here is a language selection. And by default, it should just detect what language it is that your system is using and will choose that by default. For instance, in my case, I have
English.
English. And then in the middle of the phone,
Accept.
Accept. Now, if I do not want to use English language, for example, and I want to change it to some other language, then you need to tap on where it says English. I'll show you what I'm talking about.
English.
Then you tap here. Tapping here now will show you the different languages, and I'll just move my finger through so you hear some of the languages that are supported.
English, 1 of 19.
Next.
Deutsch, 2 of 19.
Next.
Francais, 3 of 19. Espanol, 4 of 19.
العربية 5/19.
I have no clue what that language is next.
Ri Ben Yu, 6 of 19. Showing
No
items
clue.
1 to 6 of Zhang Wian, 7 of 19. Elenica, 8 of 19. Portuguese, 9 of 19. Netherlands, 10 of 19. Italiano, 11 of 19. Polski, 12 of 19. Hindi, 13 of 19. Magyar, 14 of 19. Turk, 15 of 19. Swedish, 16 of 19. Danish, 17 of 19. Norwegian, 18 of 19.
And
Showing
the
items
last
13
item
to 18
here
of 19.
will be
Finnish, 19 of 19.
Finnish, 19 of 19. And that finishes the list of supported languages. I'll simply go back or tap on English and go back to the previous page.
Select language.
And now I'll just tap on that accept found near the middle of the phone.
Accept. Terms and conditions.
We're now to the next page, and here we get terms and conditions.
Terms and conditions.
And we hear,
Novartis Pharma AG provides this application as a navigation app designed for persons with visual impairment.
all right?
Read full terms and conditions.
And you could tap here to read the whole agreement and all of that. And then toward the bottom, we have a button that says
Accept.
accept. We'll tap here.
Next.
We are now on a page of some basic instructions. And the first page says,
Welcome to NAV by ViaOpta, in Pager.
and in the middle,
NAV is designed to help people with low vision get from A to B, get voice guided and turn-by-turn directions, be alerted to intersections along the way, and pinpoint your exact location.
in other words, something to get you from point A to point B and giving you voice guidance. Now below that, we have 3 tabs that are not labeled, simply says tab. And basically, these are pages. There are 3 of them. The first one will simply say tab selected, and the second one will say tab 2 of 3, and the third one will be tab 3 of 3. So these are pages of those basic instructions. You could tap next at the bottom of the phone, or you could simply swipe from right to left with 2 fingers to move through these pages. Here's what I'm talking about.
Tab, selected, 1 of 3, in list, 3 items.
There's our first page and it's selected. That's the page we're reading right now. The next one will be tab 2 of 3.
Tab, 2 of 3.
And the last one will be
Tab, 3 of 3. Detected.
And you could tap on the bottom where it says
Next, out of list.
I'll tap on next.
Page 2 of 3. Shake it, vibrate it, in Pager.
The heading here is shake it or vibrate it. Put my finger in the middle.
If you shake your device while in the app, it will tell you where you are and where you need to go. The app will also make your device vibrate when you are facing the right direction at the start of your journey.
And again, we could tap on the next at the bottom, or we could swipe from right to left, or tap on tab 3 of 3 that is found below these instructions. Let's go ahead now and swipe from right to left.
Be My Eyes. Page 3.
Page 3 of 3 is about Be My Eyes, and I put my finger in the middle.
If you need help and prefer to talk to a sighted volunteer or company representative, you can use the app to connect to Be My Eyes. Be My Eyes will connect you to a sighted volunteer through a live video call.
And that's the last instruction on the last page. Now, at the bottom, though, we have
Get started, out of Pager.
Get started. Let's go ahead and tap here to get started.
NAV by ViaOpta.
We are now in the main UI of the app. And at the very top, of course, I'm going to take you through what we've got here. At the very top, we have the title of the app.
NAV by ViaOpta.
We hear NAV by ViaOpta. Now near the top right corner, we have some three buttons. There's one at the very top by itself, and that is
Settings button.
Settings. Then below that, we have
Around me.
Around Me, and to the left of that, we've got
Custom route planner.
Custom Route Planner. And then to the left of that is an edit field for the search. You want to search for an address, for example.
Search edit box.
Let's go back now to the top item. That's the settings found near the top right corner, and go through the settings because I assume that this is probably the most important part.
Settings button.
I'll tap here to activate settings.
Back button.
Tapping on settings, we're on a page now, and it lands us on the back, which is found near the top left corner. Now, moving from there, we got
Select language, English.
Select Language, and the chosen language here based on my system of operation is English. Below that, we've got
Alert frequency, every 1 minute.
Alert frequency. In other words, how often do you want it to tell you what's going on, what's coming up, and things like that. By default, it's set to 1 minute. If you want it longer or shorter, you tap that to go change it to the time that you would prefer. Let's move to the next.
Units, metric.
The next thing here is the unit of measurement. And by default, since it's a European app, we have the metric system. Of course, those of you and me who live in the United States of America, we probably want to go in here and see if we could change it to the imperial. Therefore, I will tap here and see if we have it supporting imperial.
Metric, 1 of 2, in list, 2 items.
I am told metric 1 of 2, 2 items. Moving my finger down,
Imperial, 2 of 2.
I hear imperial 2 of 2. I'll tap here to select imperial.
Imperial, 2 of 2.
And now I can either just go back or tap on that back button found near the top left corner. I'll just do my navigation to go back.
Units, imperial.
We are told now units is imperial. Next, we hear
Vibration on turn-by-turn direction, enabled.
vibration on turn-by-turn direction enabled. In other words, when I make a turn, it vibrates. Now, if you don't want to hear it or you don't want to feel any vibrations, then you turn that off. Next,
Notification on direction announcement, enabled.
notification and directions enabled. In other words, whether I'm going west, east, south, or whatever, it would let me know the direction I'm going. If you don't want to hear that, again, you could turn that off.
Junction announcement, enabled.
Junction announcements. In other words, here in the States, we say intersections. So if you want to be able to hear the intersections you're crossing and things like that, you definitely want to have this one enabled to know that you're on the corner of X and Z. And
Automatic route recalculation, enabled.
automatic route recalculation. In other words, if I'm going someplace and I take a wrong direction, it will recalculate and send me back the right route that I should go to take me to where I intended going to. And
Around me distance within 6 mile.
around me distance, and it says it's within 6 miles. In other words, the width of how far I want it to look around is 6 miles, or if you are using the metric system, it probably will be 6 kilometers. Now below that is an adjuster. In other words, it has a slider that you could adjust if you don't want it that wide of a coverage. So for example,
Slider, 56%.
and I don't want to, find things within 6 miles around me. I'm not going to walk 6 miles, most especially when it's hot. So I think I'm going to narrow mine down. I apologize for that vehicle going by, making that loud noise. Now I'm simply going to swipe down with one finger to narrow the width of coverage that it has if I swipe down.
Within 5 mile. Slider, 44%.
5 miles, swipe down.
Within 4 mile. Slider, 33%.
4 miles.
Within 3 mile. Slider, 22%.
And maybe because I'm a little bit too lazy, I'm going to pull mine down to 2 miles. I don't think I want to be walking for 3 miles to go get something to drink.
Within 2 mile. Slider, 11%.
Exactamundo, that's what I'm talking about. And then we have
Terms and conditions.
terms and conditions, and that's the last item here. I'll now go back to the menu UI of the app.
NAV by ViaOpta.
I am now back in the menu eye of the app, and of course that was the settings, and as I indicated below that settings there on the top right is the look around. I'll put my finger down and take a look at the categories that it has for the look around.
Around me. Back button. Showing items 1 to 11 of 11.
Tapping on around me, I heard back 1 of 11. So in other words, we got 11 categories here. I'm going to go through the items, and we have
Eat and drink, 1 of 11, in list, 11 items.
eat and drink,
Going out, 2 of 11.
going out,
Sites and museums, 3 of
sites
11.
and museums,
Transport, 4 of 11.
transport,
Accommodation, 5 of 11. Shopping, 6 of 11.
shopping,
Business and services, 7 of 11. Facilities, 8 of 11. Leisure and outdoor, 9 of 11. Administrative areas buildings, 10 of 11.
and the last item,
Natural or geographical, 11 of 11.
natural or geographical, and that's the last one. All right, so let's go, for example, say we want to look for something to eat.
Showing
And then in that case, though, we'll tap on the one that says eat and drink.
eat and drink, 1 of 11.
Here is eat and drink. If I want to see the places for eating here or things that have to do about eating and drinking, I'll tap here.
Restaurant. Showing items 1 to 3 of 3.
Restaurant, 1 of 3. Next,
Snacks fast food, 2 of 3.
snacks and fast food. And
Coffee tea, 3 of 3.
coffee and tea. Now, since I kind of like eating, I'm going to tap on the one that says restaurant.
Restaurant, 1 of 3.
Here is restaurant, and I'll tap here to see what restaurants are near me. I'll tap here.
New York Teriyaki, 214 East Moxie Avenue.
I hear New York Teriyaki, 214 East Moxie Avenue. And next,
Barn Door, 108 South Eiler Street. Barn Door, 108 South Eiler Street.
barn door, that's like a bar and grill. So next,
Ladonia, 108 East Moxie Avenue.
I don't remember what that is.
City Mix Arcade and Eatery, 101 South Rivard Road.
Like a little kid's place where they play games.
Mugshots Cafe, 101 South Rivard Road.
That's just a coffee place.
M.I. Lindo Nayarit, 310 Madison Court.
That's the last one there. Now, I'm going to tap on the New York Teriyaki, even though I'm not fond of teriyaki and all of that. But just for giggles, let's go ahead and tap that since we're demonstrating this.
New York Teriyaki, 214 East Moxie Avenue.
We'll tap here to activate.
Out of list.
Tapping on the New York Teriyaki, I'm going to put my finger down.
214 East Moxie Avenue, Moxie, 198.
It tells me where it's located on East Moxie Avenue. And below that,
Open Places website.
open the Places website. That is if I want to go to their website. Or
Place phone.
Place phone. In other words, if I want to place a call and tell them, hey, I'm coming there to get food, could you get so and so ready for me, or such and such dish ready for me? I'll be dropping in. I'll tap here, and that should take me to where I could make such a call. And now below that placing phone call, then we have some tabs at the bottom. And starting from the left, we've got
Save favorite.
Save favorite. In other words, if I want to save this to my favorites as one of my favorite places, then I'll tap here to add it to my favorites. Now to the right of that, we've got
Show route.
Show the route. In other words, if I tap here, it's going to show me the step-by-step direction. Turn on this and then turn on this and that. The last item here at the bottom,
Start route.
Start the route, that is, start the navigation, and this is the most important one. I'll tap here to start this virtual navigation, see how far I go.
Back button. Continue for 249 yards.
Upon tapping there, I felt some vibration, and it says
623 yards, New York Teriyaki, 9 minutes.
It tells me it's like 623 yards, and it's going to take some 9 minutes to walk to that place. Now, below that, we have some tabs. From the left, we've got
Show map.
Show the map. To the right of that,
Be my eyes.
Be my eyes, in case I want to call Be my eyes to help me with something. And the last tab here will be
End route.
End the route. In other words, I could tap here to exit navigation. If I tap here,
Are you sure you want to end route? Yes.
tapping on that, it says, am I sure I want to leave the route? And then there
Direct
are two
your device
big
to find the-
buttons. And the one in the middle says yes. And there's one below that that says
No.
no. So I'm going to tap the one that says yes.
Yes. NAV by ViaOpta. Settings
And
button.
that takes me out of my navigation and back to the menu I where I'm placed on the settings button. That is a quick demonstration of the NAV by ViaOpta. ViaOpta.